Welcome to Mr. What If, where we explore strange questions and impossible worlds. Comment where you're listening from, and share your own what if ideas below. Now, let's begin. What if humans could read each other's exact thoughts? Imagine waking up one morning and realizing something has changed. Not in the weather, not in your body, but in your mind, or rather, how your mind connects to others. As you open your eyes, you don't just hear the sounds of your home, you hear thoughts. Clear, vivid, unmistakable. Your sibling, making breakfast in the kitchen, is silently grumbling about the toast being too dry. A second later, your phone buzzes, and even before reading the message, you feel the sender's worry about how you might react. It becomes apparent, you can now hear people's exact thoughts. And they can hear yours. At first, the world is stunned. Social media floods with reactions. Streets are quieter, not because people aren't speaking, but because their thoughts speak for them. Secrets, opinions, doubts, they float around like radio static. In restaurants, you overhear waiters thinking about quitting. On buses, strangers' minds replay old memories. At home, parents hear their children's fears, and children, for the first time, understand the weight their parents carry every day. The intimacy is overwhelming. Relationships buckle under the strain. Couples hear each other's insecurities, judgments, and wandering minds. Friends fall out, surprised by one another's honest but previously unspoken thoughts. Politicians falter, no longer able to fake sincerity. Every lie is instantly revealed by a stray thought. Advertising collapses. No one can be manipulated when every hidden agenda is exposed the moment a person thinks it. But soon, the human mind begins to adapt. People become more aware of their internal monologues. They start practicing mental discipline, filtering stray thoughts, and learning to silence the noise. Schools begin teaching mental manners, guiding children on how to manage and soften their thinking. Therapy booms, but in a different form, no longer helping people open up, but helping them control what leaks out. As weeks turn to months, something shifts. Empathy replaces suspicion. People begin to understand one another in ways words never allowed. When a stranger walks by thinking of grief, you don't need an explanation, you feel it. When someone is angry, you understand the fear behind it. Mistrust fades, not because people change overnight, but because no one can pretend anymore. With honesty laid bare, trust becomes rooted in authenticity rather than performance. New forms of connection emerge. Art evolves, no longer just about what you see or hear, but about what you feel mentally. Movies, music, and writing begin triggering shared mental landscapes. People meditate together, not just to relax, but to synchronize their thoughts in silence. Mental spaces, once private, become shared canvases. Leaders change too. A new kind of figure emerges, not charismatic, but consistent. Their thoughts align with their actions, their fears with their hopes. Elections aren't about slogans anymore, but about how honestly a person thinks. Transparency isn't just expected, it's unavoidable. And eventually, life becomes calmer. Not because we stop feeling, but because we no longer waste energy hiding. In a world where you can hear others' thoughts, kindness becomes more valuable than charm. Integrity more powerful than image. What began as chaos turns into clarity. And slowly, humanity rediscovers itself, not in the silence of secrecy, but in the harmony of shared thought. What if sleep was no longer necessary? It begins quietly, like most revolutions do. One morning, you wake up, go about your day, and as night falls, you simply don't feel tired. Hours pass. Midnight arrives. But your body remains alert. No grogginess, no fatigue, just a still, constant energy humming beneath your skin. Around the world, the same realization spreads. Humanity, for reasons unknown, no longer needs to sleep. Not just a few people. Everyone. Doctors are baffled. Scientists scramble for answers. But tests confirm it, the body regenerates without rest. Memories consolidate without dreams. Sleep, once vital, is now obsolete. At first, it's exhilarating. People reclaim a third of their lives overnight. The global economy accelerates. Businesses expand hours. Cafes stay open all night. Productivity skyrockets. Parents spend more time with children. Students finish degrees in half the time. Artists create more than ever before. The world feels limitless. But then, time begins to stretch. Without sleep to mark the boundaries of day and night, the cycle breaks. Hours blur together. People lose track of what day it is. The concept of morning becomes meaningless. Without dreams, the subconscious grows quiet, too quiet. The mind, once reset each night, begins to fray slightly at the edges. Some people start simulating sleep. Not because they need to, but because they miss it. The ritual of letting go, of drifting. Sleep pods and dream chambers become common, not for health, but for comfort. Artificial dreams are sold in digital packages, nostalgia, wonder, surrealism. A bedtime story for minds that no longer shut off. Mental health evolves. New forms of rest are developed. Stillness becomes a discipline. Meditation replaces naps. Entire industries arise to help people disconnect for a few hours, not because they have to, but because they need to remember what it felt like to pause. Relationships shift. Without tiredness, there's no shared yawns, no curling up after a long day. But there's more time, for long walks, for conversation, for simply being with one another. Nighttime becomes the new golden hour for connection. Cities adapt. Streetlights never turn off. Parks stay open. Night markets flourish. But the sky, the stars, become more important. People rediscover the beauty of the night, no longer a void, but a canvas of endless potential. And somewhere in this new world, people begin to reflect. Was sleep just a necessity? Or was it something more, a sacred silence between chapters of consciousness? Now that it's gone, the world feels louder, fuller, and yet, a little less human. Without sleep, we gain time. But in losing the darkness, we may find ourselves chasing the peace it once brought. What if humans lost the ability to lie? It happens suddenly. At first, it seems like a glitch. A politician pauses mid-sentence, then blurts out the truth. A child, asked who broke the vase, confesses instantly. People laugh it off, a strange day, perhaps. But by evening, the pattern is clear, no one can lie. Not even a white one. Across the world, people test it. They try saying, "I love this," when they don't. Or, "I'm fine," when they aren't. But their mouths betray them. The truth spills out, unfiltered. From the highest office to the humblest home, honesty becomes unavoidable. At first, chaos. Relationships crack. Marriages unravel under years of concealed doubt. Job interviews turn awkward. "I only want this job for the money," someone says. Dinner parties end in tension. "This soup is bland," another admits. Every interaction becomes raw. Social media shifts overnight. Influencers admit insecurities. Brands confess failures. News anchors correct themselves mid-sentence. "Actually, I don't know if that's accurate," they say. The curated facade collapses. But then, something strange happens. Without the option to lie, people begin choosing their words with care. Not because they're hiding, but because they know truth can cut deep. Communication slows down. Becomes more thoughtful. Trust, once fragile, becomes foundational. Deals are struck faster. Friendships grow stronger. People no longer wonder what others really think, they know. Apologies become sincere. Forgiveness becomes more common, now that the truth is always present. Children grow up in a different world. They're taught not how to lie, but how to express the truth with kindness. They learn when to speak, and when silence is more powerful. Empathy grows, because truth is no longer a weapon, but a window. Art changes. Storytelling shifts from fiction to reflection. Not lies, but metaphors. Artists express truth in color, shape, and sound. Films delve deeper. Music becomes more vulnerable. Creation becomes honesty made beautiful. In politics, spin disappears. Campaigns run on facts and values. Debates become dialogues. Voters, for the first time, trust. Because they can feel the honesty. Leadership becomes less about charisma, more about integrity. And in daily life, people breathe easier. No more second-guessing. No more hidden agendas. Just a world where words mean what they say. The loss of lies isn't just a shift in speech. It's a transformation in how we see one another. In a world where no one can lie, truth becomes not a burden, but a bridge. What if humans could no longer forget anything? It starts subtly. A few people notice they can recall conversations word for word. Then others find they remember exact dates, faces in passing, phone numbers from a single glance. Within weeks, it's global. Humans can no longer forget. At first, it seems like a gift. Students never need to study twice. Names are never forgotten. Anniversaries, passwords, childhood memories, all perfectly preserved. The mind becomes a library, endless and accessible. But quickly, the weight sets in. People begin to drown in their own memories. Embarrassments from years ago feel fresh. Old arguments echo daily. Every mistake, every painful moment, every look, every word, impossible to escape. Relationships suffer. Forgiveness becomes harder when nothing fades. People replay betrayals endlessly. Love is tested not by the present, but by the ever-present past. Nostalgia sharpens, and grief deepens. The dead never feel far away. Mental health reshapes. Therapists help people not to remember, but to live with memory. Mindfulness becomes essential, anchoring people in the present while the past whispers constantly. New techniques arise to soften emotional recall, if not erase it. Art changes too. With memory infinite, people explore new expressions, capturing the feeling beyond memory. Dreams become rare and sacred, the last unstructured realm. Journals fade in popularity. Who needs them when your mind remembers everything? Technology adapts. Devices help sort memories, tag them, even mute them. People begin to choose what to focus on, like curating a mental playlist. Social networks build tools to manage what others remember of you, too. And in time, society evolves. Justice improves, memory is evidence. But fairness becomes complex. Not everyone recalls with the same perspective. History becomes undeniable, but interpretation remains debated. Eventually, humanity finds balance. People learn not to forget, but to forgive deeply. To carry memory not as burden, but as testament. They begin to tell stories not to preserve the past, but to understand it. And in a world where nothing is forgotten, every moment begins to matter more. Because now, you don't just live once, you live every moment, forever. What if time flowed backward for everyone born after 2000? Imagine a world where everyone born after the year 2000 begins to experience time not as a forward-moving journey, but in reverse. The moment they are born, they age backward. Their bodies grow younger, their memories stretch in the opposite direction, and their experiences move from consequences to causes. At first, society is stunned. Parents give birth to infants who seem to know things they shouldn't, reciting events before they happen, showing familiarity with people they've never met, predicting political events, stock crashes, and personal milestones. These children, though young in body, begin life with vivid recollections of what's to come, memories of a future that, to the rest of the world, hasn't occurred yet. Doctors and scientists scramble to understand the phenomenon. Hospitals adjust their care methods. Pediatricians learn to treat infants who speak clearly, who reject toys meant for toddlers, and who ask deep, philosophical questions before they can even walk. Schools no longer teach children how to prepare for the future but instead how to process their past, the life they've already lived but is still ahead of everyone else. Calendars lose meaning. The class of 2040 remembers graduating before they ever start school. Children complain about their future breakups, job layoffs, and health scares with the casual tone of someone recalling a childhood memory. Mental health professionals are overwhelmed by the emotional burden these backwards-living individuals carry. Regret from relationships they haven't yet entered, nostalgia for moments that haven't occurred. Social dynamics shift dramatically. Romantic relationships become confusing, with one partner living forward and the other in reverse. A person born in 1999 falls in love with someone born in 2001. For one, the love story is a budding romance, for the other, it's a fading goodbye. They meet in the middle, once, sharing a perfect overlap in their timelines, before continuing their journeys in opposite directions. Jobs become complex too. Imagine a young man born in 2005 working as a doctor in 2025, not because he studied medicine, but because he already remembers being one in his reverse future. But soon, his knowledge becomes outdated, fading as he forgets the latest techniques. His co-workers age forward, gaining experience. He ages backward, losing it. Laws are rewritten. Identity systems collapse. If someone's life is known in advance, how do you charge them with a crime they already served time for? Could you punish someone for something they say they already atoned for? Courts struggle with testimony from people who swear they know the future because to them, it is their past. Economics turn chaotic. People born after 2000 invest in stocks or cryptocurrencies with uncanny accuracy. After all, they already lived through the fluctuations. This knowledge becomes dangerous, leading to extreme imbalances. Eventually, governments ban post-2000 individuals from trading, claiming it's no longer speculation but exploitation. Culture, too, evolves. Art, music, and literature created by backwards-living minds feel eerily prophetic. Songs describe events yet to unfold. Paintings depict disasters before they strike. Movie plots seem to spoil reality. Some celebrate this foresight, others fear it. Eventually, entire cities form around those born after 2000. These reverse timers stick together, finding comfort in shared experience. They create institutions where their lives make sense, where education runs from specialization to fundamentals, where farewells precede introductions. But the saddest part? For them, relationships are countdowns. You don't meet someone and build a bond, you slowly unmeet them. Best friends drift into strangers. Spouses become crushes. Children return to the womb of possibility. Every hug is a goodbye. Every conversation is a fading echo. And when they reach the end, or rather, the beginning, they vanish. They were never born, not in the traditional sense. Their lives unravel, not like a story told, but like one rewound, frame by frame, until it fades into stillness. A society divided by time itself struggles to find unity. Those living forward envy the foresight of the backward-born. The backward-born envy the forward flow of memory and hope. In the end, they both learn something profound. That no matter which direction time moves, every moment is fleeting, and connection is the only true constant. What if humans could only speak 100 words a day? Imagine this: one day, without warning, you wake up and realize something feels off. You try to greet your sibling with a simple, "good morning," but a soft beep echoes in your mind. You feel a strange weight, like the air is counting. You open your phone, and there it is. You have 98 words remaining today. Suddenly, your voice is no longer free. From now on, every word you say, every hey, every okay, is subtracted from your daily allowance of just 100 words. At first, the world doesn't know how to react. People panic. News anchors whisper. Parents shush their kids more than usual. A global hush falls over the streets. By lunchtime, there's a surreal quiet. Supermarkets are filled with gestures instead of voices. Cashiers smile, nod, and wave. Instead of chatting in line, people scroll their phones, saving every last syllable. You find yourself calculating before you speak. Do you say, "Hi, how are you?" That's 4 words. Is it worth it? Maybe just, "Hey." 1 word. Safe. Suddenly, "I love you" takes up 3% of your day. Arguments? Forget it. Jokes? Only the sharpest survive. The next week, the world adapts. At school, teachers stop lecturing for hours. Instead, they hand out written guides and visual demonstrations. Students learn to read deeply, to watch closely, to understand without asking too many questions. Hand-raising becomes a precious act, because when you ask something, it needs to matter. In workplaces, meetings shrink from hours to minutes. Agendas are outlined in advance. No one rambles. No one repeats. The CEO no longer delivers a speech, they send a slideshow. Efficiency soars, but so does the loneliness. Hallway small talk dies. Water-cooler conversations vanish. But in their place, quiet smiles return. A nod means, "Thank you." A glance means, "I got you." By month 3, a new etiquette is born. People wave instead of greeting. Silence in elevators is no longer awkward, it's respectful. Relationships deepen in a different way. Couples hold hands longer. Friends share playlists instead of stories. Love letters return, but now they're typed, written, drawn. Children learn a whole new kind of language, sign language becomes standard. Emojis gain nuance. Every household develops its own silent shorthand, a smile, a tilt of the head, a tap on the shoulder. Conflict shifts too. Without words, you can't raise your voice in a heated debate. You can't talk over someone. Arguments are written out, read, rewritten. By the time you've typed what you want to say, you've already calmed down. Online, the culture changes. People hesitate before sending a mean comment, because even typing might count. Suddenly, trolls are quieter. DMs are kinder. Art evolves. Movies lean into silence. Like the golden age of film, but reimagined. Expressions say more than dialogue. Music becomes more popular than ever. It fills the silence, expresses what words can't. In museums, new exhibits explore nonverbal storytelling. Theater performers train in expression and gesture. Poetry becomes minimalist and powerful, like haiku on fire. Politics? Revolutionized. Debates are capped at 100 words per candidate. Every sentence carries weight. No more grandstanding, just sharp, crystal-clear visions. Campaigns become visual, posters, infographics, documentaries. Voters don't listen for hours. They feel the message in moments. Laws change too. Contracts are simplified. Legalese dies. Justice becomes about clarity, not complexity. And through all of this, something quiet and unexpected happens, people listen more. Really listen. They notice pauses, tone, pacing. They become more intuitive. More present. In a world where words are rationed, silence becomes golden, not awkward, but sacred. Relationships evolve. You don't just hear someone, you observe them. Love becomes more than saying, "I love you." It becomes a shared glance, a silent meal, a written note tucked into a pocket. In the end, the world isn't broken by the limit. It's remade by it. Language becomes an art of precision. We no longer throw words into the wind. We plant them carefully, like seeds. And in the silence that follows, we finally begin to hear each other. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this, come back next time for another What If to ponder. Until then, stay curious.